right? So it comes down to that. That's all there is. It has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with who your relatives are. It doesn't have anything to do with which school you went to, which college you went to. If you flunked as a child, it doesn't matter anywhere. Only thing that matters is you have not been a topper all your life. You have not been this thing. You have not really done much to begin with. So how are you going to clear this exam? Or many of you, how many of you here are like confident that I'll make it? All of you are sure you'll get in. Okay, how many of you are uncertain about it? Have doubts, like maybe, may not be. Okay, all right. I was one of you guys. Okay, I was 100% sure that I won't get in. So when I went in, I was like, this is not happening. Then why are you in Delhi? I want to leave home. Right? Spent all my life here. School, college, everything in Chennai. So like, okay. Then I told myself that, see, I'm not that shameless, right, to go waste all my parents' money and everything over there. So then I told myself that, see, I won't get in first attempt. I'm giving myself 3 attempts. Tough exam, it takes 3 attempts. So that was the frame of mind with which I actually went there. And I found that I argued that to myself and convinced myself that that's the truth as well. Then another thing is there, no? You meet all these guys who have given attempts before. So you'll be sitting with people who will be like, I am giving my 3rd attempt, and I'm like, buddy, this guy is preparing for so long, how will I compete with him? The first question that comes to mind. And sometimes people who teach you themselves have given, and you're like, okay, how can I get better than this guy? Right? This guy already learned everything and he's teaching me. And how am I supposed to beat him? Right? So you have that question also in your mind. But my thought process changed drastically after I cleared the first prelims. Okay, thought process just changed completely. So I went to Delhi, I started preparing. This will answer your question about if you're never topped in your life, then what are the chances, what are the reasonable chances of getting through? Okay, so I started preparing. So every day I went to class regularly. Well, not that shameless. So I went to Delhi, I was like, okay, we'll go to class. I went to class regularly, I made notes, I did all of that. Then I came back, I did my learning as well. But I knew at the back of my mind that this is a loser's battle, and I was more than prepared, saying the first prelim was going to. I did that, and then I wrote the prelim, and then the prelim results came, and the first preliminary that I had written, I got through. When I got through the first preliminary, it was like a. How many of you have watched Pulp Fiction? Okay, right. So in Pulp Fiction, it's a nice movie. You can watch it. This guy, there's a gangster. Somebody comes. He goes to kill someone, and then his friend is hiding inside. The guy whom he just killed. The guy's friend is hiding inside, and then that guy comes out and empties his entire magazine, right, on the gangster. He empties it fully, and then this guy's like standing there, and he looks, and not a single one. The distance is this much. Not a single one has hit him. Everything has gone by. So at that moment, this guy's thought process changes completely. He feels that God came in and stopped those bullets, and so many years he has been living his life a certain way, and then at that particular moment he gets a moment of clarity, an epiphany it is called. Everything suddenly makes sense to him. So that was like my preliminary result. So his friend is telling him that he's just a bad shooter, that's all, there is no God, and he's like, shut up, don't do this, I am having some clarity right now and I'm going to do that. And he actually transforms his life after that. So what that taught me was, it made me look back and wonder, like, how did I clear this? I have not topped. I have not this thing. It's my first attempt. People have given 4 attempts. How did I clear this in my first attempt? And the first thing that came to my mind, which was very clear, is that I did my studies on a daily basis. What else did I do? That's the question. Did I read different material? No. All my batchmates at Vajiram, where I went to, they read the same material. Not everybody got through. Did I write an extra amount of tests? No. Did I have IAS brothers, sisters, relatives who gave me special advice? No. Okay. The first IAS officer I met in my life was my collector when I joined the IAS. Okay. The first collector I met, sorry. First IAS officer I met was in Labasna. Finished the training, went over there, like, acha, this is how they are. So anyway, so I didn't have that thing. So what did I do? All these doubts, only thing I did was I went to class, I came back, I studied. That's all I did. Which the moment of clarity for me was very thing. It was simple. All the stuff that the teachers and parents have been telling you, no, you work hard and you will succeed. Now, they don't say what is the meaning of working hard. And meaning of working hard also became very clear in my head. What is the meaning of working hard? It means working small or working soft. They say, you don't need hard work, you need smart work. You heard that nonsense? Okay. So, you know what is smart work? Smart work is nothing else. It's basically hard work on a regular basis. That's all. And there's nothing smart about that. I studied every day. Who gets a good body? Who runs marathons? That guy who trains for 21 hours a day, he runs the marathon the next day? No, he goes to the hospital. Right? So, whoever is going to wake up and go to the gym, 6 months later will have a six. Right? Whoever is having only six pack, they will not get anything. So, that one was very clear to me because there's no other explanation as to why I cleared the prelims. So then that's it, life became very clear after that. And that was, you have a problem in front of you, work on it every day, it will solve. Any problem, okay, anything in life, you work on it every day, it will solve itself. If it doesn't solve itself, you will feel like it's not a problem worth working on. So that became very clear to me, and that at the end of the day is how, whether you are topper, why didn't you get university gold medal? You never studied every day, as simple as that. When did you study? 2 days before the exam, or some of you must have studied that one night before the exam. And our great education system is such that if they ask you India-US relations, you write on India-Pakistan relations, change Pakistan to US, you will still get some 2 marks out of 10. Something will be true, no? Or in engineering terms, they'll ask you, say, some oscillator, they will ask you, you write something else. But label it as oscillator. You will pass. You will not get university gold medal. Right? So that's how it is. If you had prepared on a regular basis, when you were in college, all of you would have done very well. Now the question is, this is the whole difficulty of the process. Who gets through and who doesn't basically comes down to who prepares every day and who doesn't. That's all. As simple as that. There's a very nice quote that my one teacher in Delhi had told me. And do you have quotes stuck in front of you by any chance? Like, do you write inspirational quotes? Can anyone share 1 or 2 quotes with me? Like, what can anyone tell me? Like, okay, I have this written.
Don't quit every difficulty is an opportunity in disguise.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
Fail to planning is planning to fail.
Okay.
I think it's right now than the week.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. My quote was, the longer you work, the smaller the competition. Okay. So right now, how many people are writing the preliminary exam next year? All over India? No, you guys are writing. All over India, how many people are writing the exam? 5 lakhs. Okay. So right now, how many people are you competing with? No. Those 5 lakh won't reach the exam hall. You know that? Right? 5 lakh will only be the number of applications. Only 2.5 lakh will reach the exam hall. You think all 2.5 lakh will write both exams? No. One section will leave after the first exam. So how many people are you actually competing with right now? 1.5 to 2. Okay. 3 lakh people are already out. So 60% of your competition is already out. Now out of that 1.5 lakh, how many are preparing 5 days a week? Less than 1 lakh. So if you prepare 5 days a week, you're competing with 1 lakh. Okay. How many are preparing every day? Maximum 50,000. Maximum 50,000. You prepare every day, you are competing with 50,000. How many people are doing concentrated learning for at least 4 hours a day? 20,000 max. Not more than that. Or maybe 30,000, big deal. Whatever it is, it's better than 5, no? So the longer you work, the smaller the competition. So that's all it is. Now for working long, do you need intelligence? Do you need great intelligence? No, you don't. Do you need average intelligence? You don't need any intelligence. It's a physical process. It's a process that requires you, when you're watching something very interesting on your phone, it requires you to do this and do this. You will lose half your competition in that journey. Okay. I'm going to use this to sit down for some time. So you lose half your competition in that journey. So whenever I felt tired or something, I used to read this in front, saying that, okay, if I study for 1 more hour, getting slightly ahead of some more people. Once I understood this, after clearing my first preliminary exam, life became very clear. And how clear it became, you should understand, is because I flunked my mains after that. Once I flunked my mains, I did not go into give up mode. Like, I did not go into, oh my god, I'm never going to clear the mains. I'm basically an objective OMR sheet expert, but I'm not very good at writing. I did understand that obviously I'm doing something wrong, and that if I find out what I'm doing wrong and practice doing it right on a daily basis, automatically this result will also change. I already had that belief in my mind, which is when I came back home to Chennai, and then I came here. That time we didn't have such a great infrastructure and all that. It was a very small, cozy place, and this thing started. So to answer your question of how can I, who have never topped, we all know why you didn't top. Okay, and if you want to top, this is what you need to do. All those guys who came first in your class, etc., they studied regularly. I don't think engineering also they would have studied on a daily basis, but they studied regularly. They did not wait to open the textbook on the day before the exam or 2 days before the exam. They did not do that. You know that for a fact, right? Like my class, the topper was a guy called Balachandar. Balachandar studied on a regular basis, as simple as that. He topped. We used to go to Balachandar 2 days before the exam saying, you please teach. You know, and then he used to teach, and once he taught, we would be like, oh, should have studied. Like if I had studied 15 days before, this would have been so interesting. Because once he explains it to you, you're like, shit, this is simple. This is not very difficult. Or at least that it's enough to write an answer. You get that feeling, right? So it comes down to that. That's all there is. It has nothing to do with intelligence. It has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with who your relatives are. It doesn't have anything to do with which school you went to, which college you went to. If you flunked as a child, it doesn't matter anywhere. Only thing that matters is, can you sit down on a daily basis and learn? If you can do that, you will clear the exam. If you can't, you won't.